All right, guys, welcome to October 17th, 2020. We just went through an hour session of everyone's ideas. Everyone brought good ideas to the table, and we're going to put together this watch list, and hopefully, eyes. So for CPS, you guys know kind of how I go through it. I have my watch list, run through them, and some of them that I noticed are on the list already. I've got an order in on RH for, this was one that a lot of the community brought up. It's above the anchored VWAP line, and you can see RH. What I'm looking for here is a pull to this 8180 area. I've got a credit spread for a 378.50 by 372.50 spread. So, I'm sorry, 382. I don't know, 370. It is 377.50 by 382.50 for a credit of 245. What I'm trying to do is just capture, we can catch a little dip down there, this area, we'll get filled on that spread. You can go directional if you want, but Anant said that the options are more expensive. If we break this anchored VWAP and come down to this 375 area, that's where I'd try to scout directional calls. I'd try to catch it off this bottom and then sell it as it came back up towards this. That's the plan on RH. W. So something that you guys, I can't emphasize this enough. Not deep. Not maybe you can private message me on this. Now, I guess I don't want to show you. I don't want to get Anant's email out there. But Anant sent me an email, and Anant's email said, "Hey, let's look at W. I love it. Let's check out W." And I told him, I said, "Here's what you are." Yes, Steve, it is 1023. Here's what I'm looking for on W. And now, what day was that? Do you remember? I think it was this day. It was Thursday, right? I think it was Thursday. And I had orders in at like 82, 83. But Thursday. But do you see this 286.58? This was my buy zone. This is where I was like, hey, I need to get long. Guess what happened after this day? Well, who came in and said, hey, I'm loading up on W? Right? Our mentor did, right? So Anant noticed this before Nate did, right? And I noticed this before Nate did. Guys, this is how you make money. You got to notice these things before the guru does. And I'm going to tell you something that might not be very popular, but it's still true. If you can think like Nate, and you are able to buy the ones that he's going to buy, guess what happens if you're in before Nate? So I'm just going to make these up. Let's say Nate bought next week's $300 calls for $1 for the Solado X. Well, I figured if he saw W that he would do that. So guess what happens to that? Guess what happens to that option? All of a sudden, you bought it at 75 cents. He bought it at $1. You got people chasing the move up to $1.50, and you can sell it right now for 150%, 100%. Go ahead and take your profits. And then right when it comes back down, after everybody chases it up, just get right back in it, right? So you're scalping these followers. You're scalping these chasers. And people make money off of this, good money doing this. That's exactly how Taylor used to trade from Raging Bull. That's what he would do. And it's a viable strategy. And all you have to do is get in it before Nate, all right? The same thing that for those that have dollar ace with Kyle. What do you think I did when Kyle bought Rocket? I knew Kyle was going to buy Rocket. I know that I think a lot like Kyle, so I know exactly what he's going to buy most of the time. I'm wrong sometimes, but most of the time I can guess which ones he likes. Just like a Nant can guess what I like, and I can guess what a Nant likes, right? So guys, get in before them, let it pump up, take your money, let it pull back, get back in. Very, very, very doable strategy. So, Anant was in it, W, perfect. Here we go. I love this chart. Honestly, what I'm looking for on W now, see these lines that I have drawn? So, what I'm wanting to happen on W is for this break and break this 307. And what I think will happen is we're going to start getting into the chunk of people that you see are right here. So we'll shoot up and create a double top off of here, and then create that little view that I tell you about. So I would love for, boom, 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 double top, little U, triple top, try to break. But that's what I'm looking for on W. All right. Sedge. So this one I've been playing for a while. I think I alerted my entry last week. My favorite chart was the 2 hour at the time. So at the time, it looked like this. And I bought this dip, sold this rip. So now I'm looking, get back in. And so now we've got a much more developed 130. So I'm going to switch to the 130-minute chart. I love this chart. There's nothing I don't like about this chart. I love it. So one of the things, has anybody ever heard me refer to the upside down L? Anybody ever heard me use that phrase, upside down L? So yeah, exactly. So what do we see here, right? I want to see this flip. Do you see the difference? Do you see how you've got more people here than here than here? That creates this base for us to shoot out of, right? You want to see the down here start getting some legs. Let's just zoom into this particular area and figure out, you're asking me, hey, why do I place my anchored VWAP certain places? All I want to do is see where anybody that bought, once this broke out, where is their average, right? So let's zoom in and see. All right. So 30-minute, you can see. We're actually, it's not as exaggerated as I thought. I mean, it's still bigger and it's still longer, but you've got some legs that are able to push here, right? And so what I would love to see happen, and the way I'm going to play this, is if we can get some consolidation back down to this area here, I'll play it off of these points, and then that will create these areas grow longer, right? Giving us more legs underneath to compete these people selling. So let me actually see if I can set up ultimately what that's going to look like on the 130 is first entry would be here. So I'm just going to set an alert along 130 TM. I'm going to do a third position. And then I'm going to set an alert at the at the 21 EMA. You guys see the 21 is this line here. So I'm going to set an alert there. It's letting me know it's coming down to this this area. Then I'll get a third position there. Then I'll save the last position, break, and try to. You guys know how I like breakdowns and then reclaim. So if we break down to here and reclaim in, what I'll do is I'll add a third position here. I'll sell it here. So what I'm doing is I'm lowering my cost basis. This is how I farm. And if we reclaim, great. We get off to the races. Set alert, condition. I want the 21 EMA. EMA 130. Anant said, Donald, yes, that upside down L was the turning point for me. AMC chart. Yeah, the video with Nate. Nate bought it and it was an upside down L, and I was like, "Is that what you're talking about?" I still got that video. I could post it up there. You'll understand. I should do post it. It's like 5 minutes, isn't it? 5 minutes. All right, so that's my Sedge setup. Now, if you don't want to play a higher price stock like Sedge, this sector is going crazy. So do you see the chart, Sedge chart versus this chart? They're like identical, right? I mean, if I were to take away the name, prices, still a difference. So you've got SPWR that you can play, and I believe Anant said he was in that already. If you want to play a lower price stop versus this one. One thing that I'm just looking at right here, guys, is you got a lot of higher volume sell off these. I don't like this declining volume got going on here, buy side and volume for the sell side. But anyway, I'll keep an eye on that. Yeah. So you said, yeah, the 1850 break. So Francisco's bringing in GPS. That's starting to make that bird pattern. Let me write that down. I'll go over that. All right. Sedge, SPWR. These are Anant's notes. Got small size at 1650. So Nate's double down pick was DKS. I still like this chart. I don't know if Nate still likes it or not, but for me, the 195 is still fine. And if you're looking to get into a position, got a pretty good volume profile support here, and realize distance that we're creating is about here. And so you can farm between these levels if you wanted to, or you could just get longer dated. So I'm tempted to order on this, but I won't for time. That's how I'm going to play DKS. Pins, Anant's 78-minute, everyone's favorite, I guess, farming this. Anant says, hey, buy at 437, add at 43.15. So let's pull that up. Pins. So I took profits on most of pins, but I I rebought down here. I think I have 10 contracts. So you're saying buy at 430, 43.7. No, do you see where my line is? Check out where my line is. Can you see that price? 43.76. We were off by 1 cent. yeah. So Anat's got buy at 43.77, add at 43.15. Yeah, I agree, 100%. I'll probably just copy Anat's posts. Yeah, 1 cent different, right? So yeah, no pins. Nate likes pins as well, so everyone knows about that. Now, one of them that I'm looking at is Docu. Did you send me something on Docu, Anat? Somebody, I think, did. Now, Docu's going to be heavily, dependent upon the market, NASDAQ, all that stuff. Keep that in mind. But if we can get above this level, do you guys see the airspace that we've got before the next group of sellers hits? So, got a $20 move. It's just, when is this going to break above that? When are we going to get above breakthrough? So if you look at the chart, look at the 78-minute chart here. I've got the woodpecker pattern, whatever you want to call it. You see it starting to form up and shape up real nice. And this is how I'm going to play it aggressively. So 78 minutes, we are at the lower Bollinger Band, right? We are right on. If this is going to work tomorrow, Monday, or it's not, right? So we can go aggressive, shorter dated calls here because we know it's going to work quickly. So that's how I'm going to play this one. It's either going to work or it's not. And doesn't, this trend line will break, and I'll have to readjust and set up for a new attack to try to get over. That's Docu. So Etsy's got a nice little 2-hour starting to take shape, but it's kind of in wait and see mode. I don't know if I'm going to include this one on the watch list or not. What I'm waiting on is I want the a better base to be put in. So we're breaking below this 148 line. If we can come down here to 34 and hold, kind of like we did here, start setting up, that's what I'm looking for on Etsy. And if you look at the run up, these are the stats. So their earnings are on the 28th. I think they are. Etsy actually does. No, it's aftermarket. So their earnings date. So 1 week out is the 22nd. So you can see their stats they're not bad, right? They're slightly above 50%. But 1 day before, you got a nice little pop into earnings. In this earnings isn't great. So what I'm looking to do is I'm trying to catch a little pop into earnings on Etsy off of a support level. That's all I'm trying to do. And the way I'm going to play that is I'm actually going to try to capture premium because Etsy's, look at, you guys can see this. Etsy right now has a 10.7 implied move. The average move is, oh wait, no, that's the average move. Hold on, let me. Sorry, 14 points. So Etsy's move right now, implied move is 14.7, and the average move is 10.7. So you guys know I try to capture IV crush. So if I can capture some of this, if I can capture 4% IV crush, because what's going to happen is this is going to shrink down closer you get to the earnings day. So let's just hypothetically say if this price didn't move, if it just stayed here till earnings day, what will happen is you'll make money as a seller of options because this premium will go down closer to that. That's what I'm trying to capture. Hope that makes sense. Not confused. On X. So it's a combination of TTM, basing, earnings, IV credit. Oracle was one that I wasn't looking at and is a little bit different than one of my plays because the ATR is pretty small, but a couple people had it on the watch list for them, Anant being one of them, and I forgot who the other person was. Throw your name, put it in there. But it's what Anant did, and the reason he did this, he sold in the money calls. I'm sorry, he bought in the money calls monthly. And the reason he bought in the money calls is because if you look at Oracle, it just doesn't have a high ATR, and so he wants to, not going for percentage gain, he's just trying to make money off of the top side. It's kind of like owning the stock. If you ever want to just buy the stock but not buy the stock, right? You want to capture the same type of movements, profit losses of owning the stock, you just buy further in the money calls. That way you can. So this is his plan. I'll probably just leave it here the way it is. Now, Pin is one I like a lot that I didn't have on the watch list that everybody brought up. I think Paco brought that one up, Anant brought that one up. And I like Pin a lot, and Pin's gotten a lot of attention from, I forgot the guy's name, David Portney, right? I think that's the guy that they bought. Barstool Sports is what it's called. And so it's got a lot of attention. People like the company. It's in a daily squeeze. You've got the Momo shifting over here. What I told everybody previously is I call this a high wave candle. It's a top, technically. Technical analysis calls this a top. It's indecision. Play this simply long over this, short under this, right? Or the correct way to play it, which Anant did, nailed it. I did not. I wasn't watching it. The correct way to play it is you were to recognize this break up and then the retest right here. That's when you should have got long. So now you're long right here and your stop's just right below, right? So that's your best risk reward. So now if you're not in it, you can catch a dip. That would be great. These are my lines. So I like Pin. It'll be in there. That'll be on my watch list. Someone brought up LVGO. Just so everyone knows, LVGO and TDOC are tied to each other because of the buyout. So I won't play LVGO, but I would play Teledoc. I like it. I like the trend it's forming. Just know that you've broken down here, right? We've broken this upward trend. We would need to base, climb back in, or create this flat. Well, ultimately, what it would create is a descending triangle, right? Which breaks down. If we create this descending triangle and it breaks to the upside, that's another look. I'm personally not going to play. However, with COVID numbers spiking in Europe, great idea. All right, any other TPS plays that I left out, guys, that we need to go over before we jump into earnings? Knock that out in under 30 minutes. Good. Okay, earnings. I think we're getting faster. Nice. All right, so Snap. You guys, I don't know how many of you are members of Dollar Ace, but did you guys see the unusual calls on Snap that he had put in there? So if you look at line 71, you see these 2 days here? I'm going to zoom in for the video people watching the. So you can see 3 days before, 2 days before is 83 and 75%. You get a nice little pop into earnings, right? So if earnings are October 20th after market close, what is 3 days before? After market close means it's on the 21st. So 3 days before is what? Friday, right? So earnings are the 21st. Tuesday is 1 day. Monday is 2 days. Friday is 3 days. So what happened was I had those on my watch list here. Anything that I like and I think about playing, I'll put on my watch list. So what I do to keep track is Kyle said, hey, these were bought at 90. And I think on that day when it opened up, we were gapping up. Yeah, so they were up around $1.15. I didn't want to buy them then. And so on this chart, you can see what happened to these calls. They dipped back below. These are the price of the calls, right? So they were open. They dipped down. The guy paid 90 cents for them. I was actually able to get them in this region, 80 to 85 cents. And so I bought, I don't remember exactly how many I bought. I think I bought 30 or 50. And then I sold half of them up in this 95 to $1 range. And I'm holding the others through, meaning the weekend, not through the earnings report. I'm holding the others to try to catch Monday's stats. That makes sense? Is everybody connecting the dots here? So I'm trying to capture this play, right, Monday with those calls. So it was a dollar raise play. It was an earnings play. You see how I combined them all together? And that's the play for Snap. All right. Tesla data -3 and -2 days is I'm back in uncomfortable size on Tesla. I'm pretty big in Tesla right now, and not as big as I was because I'm not near as confident as I was. But I'm still hoping we get a pop next week. Nice. Yeah, you're exactly right, Josh. So all Josh's questions for those watching the video is those percentages are just showing the percentage of time stock goes up, correct? It says nothing of the amount of the move. Josh, are you an elite member? So on Friday, I did a video explaining all of this. I don't know if you're able to watch it, but I got it and I can send you the link. But yeah, all this is showing you, right? This is Market Chameleon data. This is showing you from this day, 3 days before, still earnings, we've been green. So if we were $100 on this day, 83% of the time, we were above $100 by the time it got to earnings. Yeah, Josh, I'll remind me when I stop this recording. I'll link that in. I'll link that video in. And so you see how Tesla says 83% and 83% right here? Well, does that mean it went up these 2 days from 3 days to 2 days? Not at all. It doesn't at all. All this means is for 2 days before and 3 days before, from this date till the earnings, we've been positive. So what that allows me to do and what I've done is I've put on put spreads I've got on a bottom side of put spreads that I'm going to hold through earnings with Tesla. I forgot the math, but I got like 450 for a $10 wide spread to hold through, and it's like 400 by 410 or 395 by 405. It's based around that point, and so I'm going to hold that through unless I can get a pretty nice pop on these days and get a decent return. But I also have just some straight up calls that I'm going to be closing out before earnings. And a way you can play these through or even before is to do, if you don't want to buy, like I was playing this week's, so 23rd calls, and I was playing the $500 level. So I think they were going around 9 to 14. They were going back and forth in there. So if you don't want to play $9 to $14 stock, you can go further out. Call. You can go further out, or you can just do a debit call spread. So buy the 500s, sell the 520s. So that's what I'm trying to capture here next week on Tesla. EW, you can see I put in. This is my very own Discord channel. There's nobody in here but me, and all I use it for is taking notes. And you can see here, EW, I said, hey, let's get long on the 14th. And the reason being is, look at the EW chart. And then you look at EW stats. See how this has a nice run into earnings. So I wanted to just actually get long and play it to the long side. So I got long on the 14th. Able to take some profits. I'm still holding some to see what we can do, to see if we can come up here and test this double top. That's the plan with EW. Be out before earnings. I'll be holding like an iron condor. That's the run up on EW. Fifth Bank is another one. Stats are just amazing, and it's popped up here nicely. So, see these stats here? Now, what's amazing about these is you have multiple shots on goal if you want. You want to hold through? Want to take that shot? I mean, you can. But for me, I am definitely going to play this as a drift play, because you guys remember what I like? I like gap downs and ups, or gaps ups and sell off. So like, if this gap up was 92% and it drifted negative, that's a gold play for me. So this is going to allow me for hold on, Raja, you see Tesla bullish next week? Yeah, I do, Raja. That's what I'm looking for. How to understand and follow the spreadsheet. I think that link that Anant just posted will help you understand this spreadsheet. All right, so you guys understand this drift play on this bank? So there's two plays here that I'm playing. Playing the run into, be out before earnings, and then try to play the drift. So what I would love to see happen is Fifth Bank to come out and say, hey, our sales, everything's fine, everything's in line, there's nothing crazy, right? As long as the earnings report's normal, then what you should see is a gap down followed by buying. And I'm going to play that. So what you do is you come over here to this screen and you put in that size. You'll put in the ticker and it autofills all the data for you. And you just need to put in the price, which is 23.26. And so what'll happen is this is going to give you the ranges. Then you'll put in the opening price. So let's just say it opens at $22. What I would look to do is to get long on this open to low range. So if it came down 21.56 area, and then I would mark, see how that lines up real nice with this volume profile level. That's where I would look to get long. Play that drift. Hope that makes sense. So that's the drift play. So Facebook, looking to get long 1 week before ER for the run up, start building a position off the volume profile area. They have magical snow lines, right, Anant? I don't know if we can say that here. Anant sent me his Facebook profile. He's got some other. So what I'm looking at here on Facebook, yeah, here, let me do that right now so I don't forget. Create. Here's the link. I update it every day throughout the day. So for example, you'll see Peter, Matt, and maybe some other people. I know Anant's got access to this. I don't think he uses it though, but you'll see you'll see the changes live. That didn't allow editing, did it? I don't think it did. Let me click on it, and if it did, I gotta kill that link. Does this allow editing? How do I delete it? How do I kill that link? Pause this recording. All right, we had to pause recording because I sent out the wrong link, but it's updated. I will post the link to this spreadsheet via Twitter. I'll see if there's a way that Raging Bull can just have it underneath my name. That's a good idea. That way you can just click on my name. Oh, do you? Shoot. Hey, Efren, just so you know, Anant hit me up and he said, "Hey, I'll give you 50 cents if you say Efron instead of Efren." See how that works? You're getting $1 from him. I know the routine. I'm getting 50 cents, so we're just ripping you off, really. Isn't that funny? That's how my mind immediately works. How can someone start ripping? Anyway, buy low, sell high, right? All right, so let's get back to Facebook. Okay, yeah, we were at Facebook. So you guys see Facebook's stats? See how it starts running up? But when does it start its run up? So those of you that know how to use the chart, put it in. When does it start its run up according to the stats? And what I mean by that is I want you to put in the date. Yeah, 1 week before, but what date is that? So the Friday, October 29th, after market close, that means earnings are the 30th, correct? Exactly, Steve, exactly. So 10/23 is the actual date that we're measuring here. So next Friday, what I'm basically doing right now is I am building a position and preparing myself to get in by Friday. I need to be in by Friday. Do I need to wait till Friday to get in? No, I need to play the chart. So for me, again, different. For me, I'm looking at this chart And what I'm thinking is, do you guys see this line here? That is the biggest volume profile bar up, right? Meaning up here, not including this level down. So what I'm looking at is, all right, well, that means if I were to put this here, okay, we are playing right in the zone. We are right at the base. This gives me a great risk reward thing here. If I can get in at this, at or around this level, and we consolidate and hold, great. That gives us next week's push. If Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, we push up here, and by Friday we're at 280, that's not as statistically advantageous to me because we've already climbed 5% this week. We're at a double top. You know, so I'm trying to get ready and be set up for the move. So it doesn't mean I got to get in on Monday. It doesn't mean I got to get in on Tuesday. I need to watch this chart, lay it out, and set up for that play for next week. That makes sense? I hope that makes sense. Now, this one, I haven't exactly figured out if I'm going to add it, keep it on there or not, because just of where we are in the chart. Check this out. So, same thing, right? 2 weeks before was when? That was Friday. You're at 92%. So 92% of the time, you're higher at earnings than you were 2 weeks before. And then you have these. Now, remember, you guys know how I use technical analysis with data, right? So I look at this chart, and I mean, it is a beauty, and it could keep going, but I would prefer to have it to look like this. If it looked like this, I'm all about it. Boom. Let's get in. We're consolidating, we're squeezing, a chance to break over, we're creating a triple top. Excellent. So now that we're here, I may still play it, but I'm going to be very tight with my stops because look how far you've got to come down, right, to the top of this flag, to this volume profile area. So if we got to pull down to this area, I might play it. So does that make sense? I hope. I'm just going to assume from here on out everything makes sense unless you guys say something in chat. I say that all the time. Oh, so something we didn't recognize, I guess nobody caught. Penn has earnings. Did we talk about this? Yeah, I agree, David. Did we talk about the run in on Penn? Because I just saw it on there. So if we're looking to play this, guys, we need to take into account these stats. So what I like to do at this point is where are we in this process? So their earnings are same as Facebook's and 5N's. So 2 weeks ago was Friday. So 2 weeks ago was Friday. 1 week is Thursday. So let's go into Market Chameleon. Pull up Penn. Look at the stats. All right, so what you can do, you can set up custom ranges. So I want to see what we're going to do 2 weeks before to 1 week before. So what is that telling me? That's telling me from the 16th to the 23rd, right? Telling me what we're going to do. If I go 2 weeks before to 1 week before, what do we normally do? Look at this, guys. 75% positive occurrence. That bodes well for our long position. So if I can get a dip on Monday, I need to put this up. Oh, it's before market opens on the 29th? I'm sorry. I was putting it at oh, 9th before market. 2 weeks would have been 15th. So that's from the 15th to the 22nd. Thank you for correcting that for me, Paul. So from the 15th to the 22nd. So we're off. We missed it by a day. So the ideal entry point would have been Friday, right? So Anant, you nailed that one. That's great. If I can get a dip to that same entry, I'm taking it. So statistically, guys, what that is saying is on pin, right? You're looking at the 15th. So by earnings, right, we're going to be higher 75% of the time. So if we get a dip below there, 68.50, 68.80, I'll take a shot at it for that play. On which ticker, Josh? So let's custom range it till the day before earnings, it shrinks down to 58%. 2 days before, it's at 67%. 3 days before, it's at 75%. So that week time, that gives us up till basically 3 days before. So what I tell you guys is, I would start getting out 3 days before this on this chart. I like this play a lot. Yeah. But you guys see what I did there with the custom range and kind of measuring what happens? You can do that on market. So testing myself, you want to dip. Josh asked, testing myself, you want to dip to 42.82 on pins. So my first dip area here, 43.76 on pin. Jump back up. Did you see this 43.77 area? That's my first dip based off this volume profile line. And then there's Anant saying there's another one at 43.15. I haven't checked, but I trust him because he got within 1 cent with me on this one. So he's saying there's another one about here to try to get in on. If you bring that into your time frame that you're playing on the 195, that's basically taking it towards the lower Bollinger Band. So this is the volume profile that he sees. Right? Now we're off by 1 cent again, 43.14. So Josh, that's what I'm looking for. If it dips to 42.82, that is the very bottom of this. You can wait. You could put an order there and use that as your stop. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just the very bottom. So if you see that volume profile bar there, I see it as well, but that's the very, very bottom. If you're using toss, that it may say low, I forgot what it's called, but bottom area node or whatever. That may be what that is telling you. All right. Time to do it. All right, we got about 5 more minutes. Shop. All right, so shop -10 was Thursday the 15th. You can see we have decent stats for a run in on -2 and -1. I'll be looking to get into a position with this if it has a few TM squeezes. It has a few TM squeezes as well. You can see here on shop, 2 days and 1 days before. So that is the 27th and 28th, right, of this month. So what I am doing is the same thing with Facebook. Trying to set up a play. I'm trying to get in on a dip on shop to play a TTM squeeze combined with a run into earnings. And so that's my shop play. What are the got 195 that's just starting, a 130 that's a little bit more developed. The thing to note is the top bar is pretty, you guys see the volume profile here, bar, pretty heavy, right? So we want to see this climb back above this. If I can get a climb back above this in a or you can try to bottom bounce off the low volume node, whatever it's. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a play on shot. And so chart plays that I like. So I was looking at Adobe. I like Adobe where it is. It's going to be on my look for TTM squeeze plays. If I can get a dip, I've got basically a triple support zone. If I can get a dip into this area, I'm going to take it strictly as a chart play. I've got this anchored VWAP, this volume volume profile support, and then this trend line support. I've got 3 support zones coming into this area. If I get a dip, I'm definitely taking it. Strictly chart play. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. I haven't gone through everything. I'm still going to be adding to, but that's all I've gotten to right now. So I'm going to